Hello and welcome to Eat Your Backyard, my YouTube channel. I hope you will subscribe if you're not already, and thumbs up this video if you find it useful. Check out my cool chicken coop. I built this thing, and one of the things I built into it was this cool door on the side, which I use to clean out all the bedding. That bedding goes into my compost bins. I'm going to show you the whole process and how really easy it is. Okay, so I made this door about the same width as a Tupperware container. That's what I use to empty the bedding out into. I use that because it's got the flat side that meets up real nicely with this. I only use bricks to hold the coop door shut on the bottom, so I can just shove that over and then the Tupperware fits in there. And the only other thing I really use is I have a small rake. You see this one's broken a little bit, to get out any little bits of bedding that get stuck back in there. And then I have a larger rake I use to get the bulk of it out into the Tupperware container. So I'll go ahead and get those and then we'll get started. Okay, so this is another door I built in order to have access. I wanted access in all areas of the coop. And I've got a really long chicken coop building video I'm working on, so check that out in the description here. But this is their grit, chicken grit. I put that in there so that they have that for the digestive stuff. And their water here, since I'm going to be pouring in more bedding, I don't want to have anything in the way. But yeah, it looks pretty good in here, actually. It's held up. The system is held up really well. Take a look in there. I'll go ahead and get all that remaining cleaned out, but you know, they've got their roosting bars, which they seem to be using quite a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and clean those off a little bit, and otherwise it's good. And then if you look in here, the nesting boxes are still blocked off because the hens are not old enough to use them, but we'll be getting those in action soon enough. I don't know, how long do you think, Jack?
Maybe like 2 months or so.
2 months or so, yeah, I think you're right. All right, let's finish the job. Those chicken feathers, they go right into the compost as well. Yeah, and I think I'll just use a sea grape leaf to clean off the excess down in this lip here. Yeah, this is where it gets a little wet out here. It gets a little crusty. Try to keep all this in good shape. Okay, so we're done getting out all that, and you can see that produced a decent amount of composted wood chips. Now these wood chips are going to return carbon back into your compost, which is a necessary thing. You can't just have vegetative matter. And it's also got chicken feathers in there, lots of chicken manure, so it is rich with nutrients, and this is going to make killer soil. You can see I got a pretty good yield here. It's not very expensive. Now let's go look at the new bedding. I use shaved pine chips. Put that in the composter here in a minute, but since I'm not really set up to be a farm, I've got a small garage. I store my supplies and things like this. So I have this bin that I use, and I just place the wood chips in here. It's easier. I usually have the bag and then what's in here, but this is easier than horsing out the entire gigantic bag I bought it in. All right, so let's go put this in place. And I put it in this way just because it seems to be easiest. I'll really have to flow it in from both ways, but I just take the double-handed scoop, and I'm going to put in a decent amount in here. It'll be probably about 2 inches of bedding, and then I'll turn that over as time goes on, meaning I'll take the bottom and put it on top and keep it naturally composting inside the chicken coop. Oh, it smells so good.
I know.
And you can put this down as neat as you want. As soon as the chickens come in, they decide how they want it. Yeah, they're gonna make it. They're gonna dig in it, and they're gonna do their thing. Don't have to worry too much about spilling. The key is just to have it covering all the wood and thick enough that it can't allow moisture down through, that kind of thing. I'm going to go ahead and put this back up. All right, they've got fresh water. It's pretty good. All right, let's go ahead and put some in from the other side. All right, let's put a little more on this side. I don't have a lip on this side. A little more careful.
Yeah. But you made it like that so you could do this and empty it out with the rake.
Yep, I made it like this so I could empty it out, and that's why I put that latch so it just stays in place like this without having to prop it up. And then you can just undo the latch, and down comes the door.
And then you put those.
And just latch on those two things, and it's a safe place for those birds to exist. All right, so that's the whole process, but now we're going to do the last part, which is the most fun part, I think. All right, this is a very easy process. This really doesn't weigh that much, but all I'm going to do is lay it on top of here. Whole idea. And then I just spread that layer down. Now the next thing I want to do is come in here and water this. But these chips will also hold the water really well. Now check out this. This is the bamboo that I laid down here. I just laid down the canes so that they would drop their leaves, and they all have.
And then you rake them up.
It's a great way to harvest bamboo leaves, because with all the sticks, it's really too hard to deal with. But while I'm at it, I might as well rake up, see what the yield is from this small amount of cuttings of bamboo that I took. Look at that. Ooh, that's nice. Sometimes I feel like I'm making an organic cake. All right. I'm gonna put that right on top of there too. Nice. The weight of all that organic material just compressing down and making the heat, which is what you want. You want the inside of that composter to be hot enough. And I think it is, so, look at that. Now, you might think, well, it's full, and it is, but it won't be full for long. The next thing is it's going to start to compress down, and it'll have room for much more. It just continuously eats this up. So there you go. That's the whole circle, from the chicken coop all the way to the reuse the poop. So if you like that kind of thing or think it might be fun to do in your yard, you can also throw in any of your food scraps into this system, and it'll consume it. And by the way, we can take this compost, and you'll look forward to future videos where we'll be feeding some of this compost to the chickens, also putting in grain to sprout in the compost, which the chickens eat, and that produces a high vitamin component to their diet, which is sprouted grains. So we're really going all in and having the most fun we can with these hens and the permaculture. If you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe to Eat Your Backyard. Also, give this a thumbs up. That helps me know you like these kinds of videos. And I think it's time for me to go in and maybe dry off a bit. It's about 100 degrees out here. All right, thanks for watching Eat Your Backyard.